and there's a lot of stuff out there. And I often tell people that, I mean, it's not all that uncommon that somebody comes into my office because their pet has cancer and they have already sat down and Googled something like natural therapies for cancer, and you get like 200 million things that come up. And you know what I mean? The reality is even if you could strip away all of the sort of just internet garbage and those 200 million results, you would still come up with a very, very long list of natural compounds that have proven anti-cancer properties to them. And the reality is that you can't give all of them. You can't even in many cases give most of them. And I mean, the thing is like, if you or I as a person, if you made the decision, I'm going to take 40 supplements a day, you can do that. That is generally speaking a non-starter with a dog or a cat. So we really have to figure out strategies to, to find ways that we can get the most compounds and the most effective compounds into these animals. So oftentimes the place that I will start is I will start with a really robust, well constructed combination supplement. And the reason why I do that is because if we can give them a really good combination supplement that has, say, like 30 or 40 different ingredients in it, then what's happening is all of a sudden you really can give those 30 or 30 supplements in a day. But as a practical matter, you're only giving one. So for example, one of the supplements that I use a lot, I'll just some of the particular ingredients because I think they're great anti-cancer and immune supportive ingredients. Transfer factor. There is a very long list of medicinal mushrooms. We could talk for days about the anti-cancer and immune supportive benefits of mushrooms. In fact, I have an entire hour-long lecture that I give to veterinarians about anti-cancer effects of mushrooms. So, and there's some really interesting studies out there. One of them even veterinary specific, to show significant anti-cancer effects of mushrooms. So transfer factor, mushrooms, anti-inflammatory herbs like boswellia, curcumin, antioxidants like superoxide dismutase, immune modulators like IP6. These kinds of compounds, high doses of omega fatty acids, fish oil, anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer. Chinese herbal therapy has some very, very interesting and attractive anti-cancer properties. Although which specific herbal combination is right is very specific to the individual patient. So that would require somebody who has some knowledge of Chinese medicine and Chinese medical diagnosis. And then, kind of getting back to the cannabis conversation, there's a lot of evidence out there to show anti-cancer benefits of cannabis. And when I say cannabis, I'm talking about both CBD and THC and various other cannabinoids. And that is absolutely something that can be used in veterinary patients as well. So to be clear, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding and misconceptions as it pertains to THC and animals. So animals absolutely are susceptible to the psychoactive effects of THC. And in fact, for reasons we don't have to get into, dogs are actually more susceptible than any other animal. They just have more receptors in their brain. That said, just like in a person, you absolutely can give THC to a dog or a cat and have them not have psychoactive effects. It's purely just a function of dose. If the average adult human ate 5 milligrams of THC, they would feel nothing. So the same thing is possible with animals, as they just need to be dosed appropriately. And even though, say, for example, that dose of THC is not having a psychoactive effect, by no means does that suggest that it's not having an effect. It's not having a toxic effect. So, I often talk to people about putting pets that have cancer on broad spectrum cannabis products that have both THC and CBD and other cannabinoids and other terpenes in it. Those products just have to be dosed very, very carefully. And I would caution anybody not to do this kind of thing without some sort of veterinary guidance. You absolutely can put your dog or your cat on a CBD product, like a hemp-based CBD product. Those are incredibly safe. By all means, as long as you're getting a good quality product, use it. But the second you cross that line into things that have THC in them, that's when you need a little medical guidance to make sure that you don't get into trouble.
We hope you enjoyed this short excerpt from the Health and Healing Club. This entire interview is available inside the Health and Healing Club, which you can try for a free 7-day trial at healthandhealingclub.com. You'll be able to access this interview and all the interviews and resources dedicated to helping you get and stay healthy at the Health and Healing Club. That's healthandhealingclub.com.